Josh, what's going on, man? Happy Thursday. How are you doing?
Man, I love that energy, especially at 9:50.
It's only 8:54 p.m. here, buddy. We got a long day ahead of us.
Oh, yeah.
I
Doing
was,
pretty good, James.
oh,
Doing pretty
that's
good.
good, man. That's good. Just been chilling. Got a lot of stuff going on. I'm with my main man in the back, one of my all-time favorites, Philip Lindsay. You know, we're playing catch. Look, he's gonna.
Is he throwing you the ball?
Hey, give me the ball.
Hey,
Nah,
don't
man,
worry. He won't fumble it, so.
Yes, there we go. I mean, yeah, he's like, kind of got to bring something back, man. Got to bring back the old school to the new school. You know what I mean?
100%.
We're here, goal line guys, ready to party, ready to rock and roll. I don't even know what episode this is. I don't care.
Season 2, episode 2. We can do that.
Yeah, we could do. We'll start from scratch. These numbers are getting a little bit too high, but
Yeah, they are.
today we have some more mock off seasons to bring to our fellow viewers. And we have two specific divisions we're going to talk about today. That, my friend, is the AFC West and the NFC South. A lot of teams to talk about. A very competitive division versus one of the least competitive divisions in football. Well,
they're still competitive, just not a, good competitive.
A lot of 8 and 9 competitiveness in there. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. But we do have a lot to talk about. Josh, are you excited to get this thing rolling?
These are so much fun going through. It's true. Like, this is our resume to be general managers. So
yeah, we'll see how that pans out in a couple of years. But I think we got some pretty fun predictions for you guys. So yeah, and then once again, we don't say this that much, but thank you guys. Thank you for all the viewers out there for tuning in to the Goal Line Guys. It means the world to us all. I know to us, it's a big deal to kind of have people come in and watch us. And, we really appreciate you guys tuning in and giving us your support.
Yeah. And we do our best of, replying to every comment, if that's positive or negative, but just hearing what you guys have to say really means the world to us. So with all that being said, it's time to get into some off-season mock stuff.
Yeah.
So, James, if you don't mind, I can go first here. That's good.
Yeah,
with you?
Of course, man. Yeah, take the spotlight from me. Sounds good.
Yeah, well, you get it a lot. So, we're going to start off with the NFC South. So, I'm going to do the Saints first, which I feel like I'm a broken record, and I feel like every year the Saints start off in negative cap.
Yep.
They're always kind of digging their way out. And again, have the same thing this year. They currently sit at negative 42.
Man.
So that means I have a lot of restructures. Now, luckily, they have some contracts that have the ability to be restructured. A lot of these restructures take their base salary for the whole year and split it up into a signing bonus at the beginning of the season or even a roster bonus at the end of the season. So that I have happening for 6 players.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm going to go with these kind of fast, talk about their numbers. Chase Young, his cap hit is $20.5 million. Restructure, but half of that goes down to 9.6 for his base salary this year. Alvin Kamara, a lot of people have him as a cut casualty this year. I actually am restructuring $18.6 million to 10.5. Carl Granderson, $18 million to 10.5. Eric McCoy, $17.7 million to 10.7. Cesar Ruiz, $14.2 million to 7.5.
Oh my God.
Juwan Johnson, $14 million, 7.6. So
wow,
that saves a lot of money. They also have 2 players that have a void contract going into this upcoming year. And I'm doing something a little different. I am voiding both Cameron Jordan and Taysom Hill, but then I'm giving them a new contract.
Okay.
So I'm taking away this year
yeah.
and then giving them both a 1-year deal. Cameron Jordan, his contract was 18.7 this year. I'm voiding that. I'm signing him to a 15.3 base salary for this year. He will get that 18.7 between bonuses and signing bonuses, stuff like that. Same thing with Taysom Hill. He was listed at 13.7 this year. Voting that, I'm putting that at 9.9. Yes, it's a little much, but Taysom Hill is a guy that can do everything and hasn't been showing his age. So with all that, I now have a lot more money. So I'm giving out some new contracts.
Okay.
I am extending Chris Olave after this year, 4-year, $132 million, That takes his cap hit from 15.5 this year to 7.5. I'm also giving Alontae Taylor, corner, a new contract, 3-year, $33.5 million. That has a 4.8 first-year cap.
Okay.
A lot of money. Now, I am releasing 3 players. Nick Saldivari.
Saldiari. I don't.
Saldivari.
Yeah. You're doing your best. You're doing your best. Yeah.
It's Italian. It is a backup offensive lineman. I'm releasing him. Releasing safety Jordan Howden and wide receiver Trey Palmer. With all these contracts, that leaves you about $24 million left.
Okay.
So $24 million. I re-signed my star wide receiver. Re-signed a quality corner. I am going out and I'm signing 2 players from free agency. I'm giving Tyler Shuck a little bit of help. Wandale Robinson is coming over. 4-year, $70.5. That has a $7.2 million for the first year cap, as well as I'm adding a little O-line help. I'm getting Ed Ingram, 3-year, $39 million, 5.4 first year cap. Trying to help a little bit on that offense.
Right.
Tyler
Give Shuck some
a little bit of help. And then I have the draft. Oh, Saints have pick 8 in the first round. They also have pick 42 and pick 73. So with pick 8, I had a few options, but I decided to go with Jeremiah Love. Yes, the running back room is very expensive.
Wow. Okay.
Alvin Kamara is showing his age, has dealt with injuries. Jeremiah Love can come in and be that back. He's one of those players that you can't really pass on with that type of value.
Mm-hmm.
With their second round pick 42, has some other options, but I went with corner Keontae Scott from Miami, probably the best slot corner in this draft. Yes, Alontae Taylor kind of plays a little bit of that slot, but he actually played outside this year, and Quincy Riley played slot, so Keontae Scott is just a pure upgrade. Then with pick 73, this one was tough. I ended up going with Genesis Smith from Arizona, safety.
Okay.
He is a guy that the intangibles, he ended up having like 7 picks this year. Like, he's a guy that is a pure ball hawk. He does have some issues when it comes to tackling, but he has amazing size, great ball skills. So he'd be a guy that can come in and kind of push that safety room a little bit for kind of just not only that ceiling, but that floor as well, and has very high potential of being a starting quality safety in this league.
Dude, this was a good. The interesting thing is, I think 2 things. Is one, with that prediction, that offense is going to be really fun.
It has a lot of potential.
Really, really fun to watch. The other thing is, it's interesting how because I think a lot of the Saints and what people are thinking is that they're going to shed old weight to bring in new weight. But I do like the strategy you put, because I think there's a lot of value to veterans, especially on the Saints, in regards to leadership. And, Kellen Moore's a young coach, and those guys provide teachings, they provide value, and they're still really, really solid players. I think that's a fun, and that is the Saints defense gets upgrades, but that Saints offense with Tyler Shuck, that with Chris Olave, Wandale, and Jeremiah Love and Juwan Johnson, that is a really, really fun offense. That could be a really fun offense.
Yeah, and like you said, and how I kind of mock this, Cameron Jordan he's 37, 38, but he was uber productive last year.
He's going to want to be a Saint for life.
Exactly. And it doesn't seem like there's any sign of retirement. And with his cap structure, like, this was the way that to keep him on the roster and save up a little bit of money. But just last year, they re-signed Juwan Johnson. Like, they are here to keep their older guys. And it's hard for a really young head coach like Kellen Moore to shed all these older veterans, because you need leadership, not just in the coaching staff, but on the field as well.
Couldn't have said it better. Maybe instead of GM jobs, you should take a head coaching job, because you got some words of wisdom, man. You got some words of wisdom. You're like a Pete Carroll. You're like a Pete Carroll.
Give me like vice president of operations.
Okay, back to business.
Mm-hmm.
We're going with the Atlanta Falcons, and I got some fun stuff for this one.
All right.
$26 million they're starting in cap. Not the craziest amount, but still decent. However, there's a lot of potential to shed some weight. For starters, we're going to extend Jesse Bates. He's a cornerstone of that defense. He's been uber productive as a safety. 3-year, $50 million extension. Takes his cap hit down to $5 million. There's a couple of good restructures specifically on the offensive line. You can restructure Jake Matthews for about $12 million. Same thing with Chris Lindstrom. AJ Terrell, you can restructure for about 11. Caleb McGarry, you could restructure about 9. I would like to see maybe the 2 offensive linemen get restructured. AJ Terrell as well. I think there's potential there, but I like I said, I like with the whole restructuring thing, I don't believe, especially with all these restructures, I don't know if everyone's going to get those restructures, but I imagine that they're going to push for more rather than less. So I would say about 3 is the goal. Cuts. We're going to cut Charlie Warner, backup tight end. That saves us about $5 million in cap. And then a surprise cut for me. I'm cutting Darnell Mooney. His cap hit is $18 million as a wide receiver 2. You just cannot do that for a guy who I think had under 500 yards this year. Post June 1st, you save about $12 million cutting Darnell Mooney. I definitely puts, a lot of Falcons fans are going to say, we need extra receivers. We need extra receivers. Hold on a second, but I just think the value is not worth the cap, and you can go into free agency and get some better guys for better value, if not the draft. No, draft capital's a little tight. So now maybe we're around like $84 million, could be higher, but it's a massive upgrade for what they had. Re-signings. Number 1, I'm going to re-sign Leonard Floyd. He is a very productive veteran pass rusher. Give him about 1 year, $8 million contract to kind of go in with that defensive line rotation. And I know that this is not going to people are not going to like this, but I'm going to re-sign Kyle Pitts. 4 years, $45 million. I just think Stefanski loves his tight ends. Kyle Pitts is a guy, to me, with Atlanta, especially if you're letting Darnell Mooney walk, you cannot let this guy go. I just think Stefanski is really going to want him to be an integral part of that system, just like how Harold Fannin was and Njoku. So we're going to re-sign him. And a couple other guys, I think they re-signed their punter, Bradley Pinion, maybe kicker Zane Gonzalez, but that's kind of up in the air. We're going to let a couple of guys walk, specifically the linebackers, defensive tackles. I just think they're going to go out in the market, see what else is out there, maybe command some money. Free agency-wise, we got a couple of good signings. We'll start with some of the smaller ones I have. We're going to go with Shelby Harris, defensive tackle from Cleveland, veteran presence in the defensive tackle room, about a 1 year, $2 million deal.
And same thing with fantastic season last year.
Yeah. Josh Jones. Josh Jones, we're going to hit about a 1 year, $4 million contract. Their backup right tackle play was not good last year. I think Josh Jones is not the best backup in the world, but certainly an upgrade from Elijah Wilkinson. We're also going to bring in Tyquan Thornton for about a 2 year, $6 million contract. Could be that wide receiver 3, if not a gadget player. He actually had a surprisingly good season with the Chiefs. I think it's a good signing for them. Also going to bring in Alex Anzalone to replace that linebacker spot. I know their other linebacker, I forget his name, but he's on a 1 year deal left. Anzalone, we're going to bring him in for a 2 year, $15 million deal. This Falcons team is looking to compete. Anzalone is a great veteran presence at the linebacker position. Again, I think it's a really nice hiring, good leadership for this team that it could have some leadership problems. And then the final signing, and this might be my craziest signing of them all. There's 2 options. Number 1, we're getting Tyree Kill. We are signing Tyree Kill a 2 year, $28 million contract to be that wide receiver 2. I mean, imagine a receiver room. You got the big man Drake London, and you got the speedster Tyree Kill. I mean, I think for Stefanski, it's you got a quarterback on a rookie contract. You're going to want to bring in competition. You're going to want to bring in guys to compete in a division that you think is going to be wide open. And I think they need a veteran receiver presence alongside Drake London and now Tyquan Thornton. I think Tyree Kill, although he's a bit older, he had the injury. He comes back. He can still play great football. I think they go out, they take a risk and bring him in. If that doesn't work out, I would definitely consider Brandon Ayuk as well. I know possible trade, maybe you get like a 3rd round pick out of him. I think he's maybe got the same value as DJ Moore in the trade market, considering all the issues that he's had. I would pull the trigger on that. I just think Drake London, like you cut Darnell Mooney, Drake London and Tyquan Thornton are not going to be able to do it just for you. I think if they cut Brandon Ayuk or get a trade, but I think Tyree Kill would be my number one guy, and Brandon Ayuk would be the backup plan for that. So that's my free agency. I know it's a lot, you know. But I think that you add some veteran pieces, guys who can kind of go into certain rotations. You upgrade at a linebacker spot, provide a shoe-in. So I think it's Divine Diablo, because Divine Diablo's got a 1-year deal left. He's a veteran. You put him alongside Anzalone. His contract will expire. You bring someone else, and you have Anzalone for 1 more year. And then obviously you get that wide receiver too.
Yeah, and Caden Ellison is also a very good linebacker. And then Troy Anderson is very good. He just has a lot of injury issues.
Yes.
Can't stay on the field.
Okay. Or were you going to say something?
I was just going to bring up this point. We're going to see, and I should probably say this at the beginning, but with all 4 of these teams, because of how wide open this division is, they're all going to be big spenders.
Yes.
Which I think it's a lot of fun from us and very interesting from an outside point of view.
Yes, I 100% agree. Now my draft. Now they don't have a first round pick, so I did second, third, and fourth rounders. You're welcome. For my second round pick, you actually picked this guy. I'm going with Keontae Scott. Again, kind of all the same thing you said. Great slot corner. Atlanta needs secondary depth. AJ Terrell's a fine corner. I know that some of their other guys have played some solid reps, but they need depth. I think Keontae Scott is an immediate starter in that defense. Bring him to me. My third round pick, I'm taking a guy who can kind of develop into a future linebacker role, and that's Tyree York, linebacker from Texas A&M. Very undersized. He's 5'11" as a linebacker, but he's got elite ball skills. I mean, he's a fantastic rotational piece for that linebacking core. I think he's a guy you could bring him underneath Anzalone and Divine Diablo and kind of have a rotation. If not, put him behind a year, have him develop as your future linebacker. My fourth round pick, I'm going with Tim Keenan, defensive tackle out of Alabama. This is your run stopper. This is a big dude in the fourth round. You have a great defensive tackle rotation now with Ruko Thoro, Brandon Dorless, who's your pass rushing defensive tackle. You got your pass rushers. Shelby Harris is the same thing. Now you bring in Tim Keenan as your big run stuffing defensive tackle. As you know, as much as I do, you can never have too many defensive linemen in this league. I think a lot of their offseason is going to be to bring in veteran guys in free agency on the offense and then capitalize on the defensive depth in the draft. And I think this is a great Falcons offseason.
No, for sure. I love it. I mean, we're fixing the issues on offense. We're re-signing our guys that while Kyle Pitts has had an up and down career, like the potential, not only the potential, but the productivity has been there. And Kevin Stefanski loves those tight ends. Like, not just her fan of this past year, but Njoku's had his best seasons under Stefanski. And so if that relationship and that connection is there, then that might be a steal of a deal. I'm assuming we're under the impression that James Pierce Jr. is going to be back.
That was my impression. I think it totally, I haven't heard anything like they're going to cut him or anything like that, although it might happen, you know, we're certainly not condoning any of that.
No, for sure.
But I don't see anything just yet. And so that's my assumption. Now, if he does, I think they have to go with a pass rusher. Really, I could definitely see one. I don't know about in the draft, but I could definitely see getting a more veteran guy in free agency.
And I'll even say, like, re-signing Leonard Floyd, he's a quality guy. He's someone that I believe like 7 out of the 8 seasons he's had like 7+ sacks, or he's a guy that's super consistent. So even if he is your, like written-in starter and they draft a developmental pass rush second, like third or fourth guy, then that's a still good case.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I love the idea of Tyree Kill there.
Yeah.
I
think it's a sneaky, underrated place for him.
Yeah. So the Tyree Kill situation is a little bit interesting. So his initial injury with like his knee, there was no additional surgery needed. Now, Tyree Kill did come out, I think on his Twitch or streaming or something, and said that he will end up needing some a PCL injury or surgery. Have you seen any of that?
I'm not, no.
It's been very under the radar. So if it is true that he does need surgery on the PCL, then that can take him out not only the majority of this next season, but will definitely affect his speed and route running, the cutting ability.
And like I said, I think that there's that case, and
No, for
then
sure.
if there was that case, I would go with a guy like Brandon Ayuk, who could be
No,
a
exactly.
compliment to Drake London.
Now, I've only seen this stuff about Tyree Kill in a few spots, so I am by no means a reliable source about it.
No,
But it is
I mean, you're the best source we got on this thing, man.
But it is something to keep an eye out as the season and offseason continues. But yeah, I mean, if Michael Penix Jr. plays better this upcoming season, this offense is explosive. Bijan, Drake London, Tyree Kill, Kyle Pitts. Like, that's a explosive offense.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
really like it. Yeah.
Thank you.
I now have the Panthers. So this is another team I am doing a lot with. I'm giving you a warning right now. Bear with me.
Okay.
So the Panthers sit with 11.1 million, which is on the lower end of things. So additionally, I have them cutting 3 players. What do you think about them? Eshaun Robinson.
Okay.
That frees up 8.5 million, as well as Bobby Brown, 5.2 million. It is depth, but I promise you I will make up for it. I'm also cutting Tommy Tremble, tight end, that he saves 5.8 million. He's just somebody that hasn't necessarily worked out. He was always a tweener in the league between fullback and tight end, and it just has not worked out. I'm also restructuring 3 players, structuring Derek Brown. His cap hit from 25 this season goes to 11. Robert Hunt, their right guard, 24.3 million to 10.5, and Taylor Moden, 21.1 million to 11.6, their right tackle. So now with these restructures and these cuts, I have 81.6 million. And I'm doing a lot with this. I am extending 2 players, or actually resigning 1 player and extending 1. I am resigning Mike Jackson, their starting corner opposite of JC Horn, for a 3-year, 40.2 million. His cap this year goes from 7.8 to 6.2. I'm also giving an extension to Ike Ekwonu, their left tackle. This one,
Okay.
I was thinking about it. He's had a very up and down career, some with injuries, some with playing, but there has been flashes of absolute potential, and I am banking on that. So that is a 4-year, 86 million. It's a lot of money, but his cap hit this year goes from 17.5 to 5.3, which is a huge savings. Kind of like what I did with the Saints, I'm signing 6 free agents.
Wow.
Which is a lot. Now, I'm also letting go of some key players, including Jalen Coker. So,
wow,
that's something to think about.
Wow, that's a bit.
It's a big one. So, but with that, I'm going and I'm getting, to me, one of the better receivers in the market. I'm getting Alec Pierce from the Colts. 4-year, 81 million. That's 8 million the first year. I'm also getting another wide receiver to play at the slot, Jahan Dotson. 1 year, 2.6 million.
Okay.
So with T-Mac as your main kind of big possession, Alec Pierce as your big bite kind of deep threat, and then Jahan Dotson take more of that middle to low as a slot, which I think kind of fits what his role has become in the league.
Yeah.
I'm also working a little bit on the offensive line. I'm signing center Connor McGovern. I let Austin Corbett go. 3-year, 49 million, 6 million first year. I'm also signing, and we talked about this last episode, tight end Cade Otton. 3-year, 23.7, 4 million for the first year. It's always nice to take a division rival player as well as a player that is a big need for your team. I am touching defensive tackle with Sebastian Joseph Day, 1 year, 6.8 million. And I'm signing pass rusher Bradley Chubb, 1 year, 16.5 million.
Okay.
So again, it is a lot of players. Even with this, it does leave me with 41. I have that much money left in case I didn't touch Bryce Young this year. That money is there for Bryce Young if they need to kind of transfer it over. But with the draft, I have pick 19, pick 51, and pick 83. Pick 19, we talked about this in our mock draft. I'm going linebacker CJ Allen from Georgia. They need a dog, a linebacker, and they don't have that right now. And CJ Allen is that prototypical Georgia big, stout linebacker who's also incredibly athletic. Then we've talked about him 2 other times. I'm going pick 51, Deontay Scott We
Jeez,
already talked about him.
Man,
Yeah,
Keontae Scott 3 times in a row.
in a row it's crazy. So I have him here between Keontae Scott, Mike Jackson, and JC Horn. That is a incredible trio of corners. And pick 83, Justin Jolie, tight end from NC State. He's a guy that's a little bit of the shorter end. He's about 6'3", about 240, but incredible with the ball in his hands. And he's used as a big wide receiver. I think he fits with Cade Otton in this offense.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Again, had a lot of money and I used it.
No, I mean, absolutely. That's the way it should be. I mean, find the Jalen Coker for Alec Pierce thing really fascinating, because I do think they really like Coker a lot. So it could be really cool to see where Coker goes.
I think he is a quality piece. I think with a guy like Coker, with him being a UDFA, his market to me is all over the place. I think a lot of teams might see a lot of untapped potential. A lot of teams might look at the injury that he suffered this past season at the beginning. And I think that connection with Bryce Young showed flashes, but I think you can get yourself a solidified star in Alec Pierce to really help with that playmaking of Bryce Young and get a more consistent wide receiver of Jahan Dotson with a cheaper price tag that could end up having the same amount of production as Jalen Coker.
I like it. I like the move. Okay, the Bucks. Now, this is one I just kind of had a feeling with certain things.
Yeah.
And it's a little more disappointing than some of the others, because I just don't know what they're going to do. For the start, this team has the potential to get a lot of cap space. They're going to start with $23 million in cap. Some of the cap changes, we're going to restructure some big contracts. Baker Mayfield, $30 million. You say $30 million. Tristan Wirfs, save about $20 million. Luke Gadecki, $16 million. Chris Godwin, you save about $15 million. And Antoine Winfield, you could save about $50 million, as well as Vita Vea, save about $11 million. Again, I don't know if all these contracts are going to be changed, but I think a lot of them might. We've got one cut. That's Anthony Nelson, defensive end, edge rusher. Save about $2 million.
Such a good pick six.
Had one of the best plays I've ever seen, but unfortunately he's going to get cut. And then now we are up to almost $100 million in cap space. $100 million. That's a lot. We're going to let a bunch of guys walk, so there is some major room for improvement. Now, re-signings. We're going to do a second-round tender on running back Sean Tucker for about $5 million. He'll be your new running back, too, with Bucky Irving. We're going to re-sign a couple of backup offensive linemen, Charlie Heck, Michael Jordan, about 1 year, $2 million contracts apiece. Not the Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan. We're going to bring back Riley Dixon, your punter. We're also going to re-sign some key veterans. Going to re-sign Levante David to a 1 year, $7 million contract. We're also going to re-sign Mike Evans to a 2 year, $27 million deal. Okay. I know he is considering looking for other options, but I just think that he's a buck. I think he's a buck. I just think it's crazy to see him anywhere else. And to still have that competitive trio of wide receivers with Baker Mayfield, no matter Mike Evans' age, is still a fantastic thing. And then we're also going to re-sign Deion Jones to a 1 year, $5 million deal, get some linebacker depth. Now, free agency signings, not as heavy as I would have liked for them. We're going to re-sign a couple of guys. We're going to sign Jack Jones, 1 year, $5 million contract, kind of a springy rotational corner. We're going to sign, now that we let Cade Otton walk, we're going to shine a guy I think is a little under the radar that could get some money to possibly play a kind of the similar role. That's a Ravens backup tight end, technically third string tight end, Charlie Kolar from Baltimore. I think that he could get a decent deal from a team. The Bucs just aren't tight end crazy with all those wide receivers. You know, Cade Otton didn't necessarily do a crazy amount except for some of those late games. I think Charlie Kolar had his moments in Baltimore.
His contract could be very similar to what Josh Oliver has gotten the last few years. About 3 year, 21 to 27 million in total.
Yeah, so well, if it's like that, then it's definitely going to go up. But I do think it's a very under the radar signing for him. We're also going to sign defensive tackle from the Jaguars, Austin Johnson, to about a 2 year, $5 million deal. Get some defensive tackle depth. And then probably the biggest one I have for them, We're going to sign Calebon Chason from the New England Patriots as an outside linebacker, pass rush specialist. Hassan Reddick's not coming back. I think Chason has a real shot of getting a starting outside linebacker role. I think he fits perfectly to what the Bucs want as a outside linebacker pass rusher next to Yaya Diaby. Give him about a 3-year, $27 million deal. And that's it for me. I just don't believe that Todd Bowles is going to go crazy this offseason. I just don't. The only other position I could really see them targeting is a linebacker. If they, with the cap, that money that they have, I do think Devin Lloyd is a big possibility here. I was heavily considering, because in the Bengals video, I said, listen, they're either going to sign Devin Lloyd or Quay Walker. I think this is a team that throws out that 3-4 year, $60 million contract plus for a guy like Devin Lloyd so they can snatch him up before Cincinnati. But I just kind of had a gut feeling that they're not going to bring a lot of people in, but I could certainly be completely wrong. Now, for the draft, we're going to go with my first round pick. I'm going with TJ Parker.
Okay.
Again, I let a bunch of their defensive linemen walk, and I think TJ Parker kind of fits a really interesting role with them. He could play on the outside. He could be a stand-up guy, but he could also be a guy who you could put your hand in the dirt, play next to Kalijah Kancey and Vita Vea. Kind of plays both ways, So I think that fits well for him, and he's a fantastic player. You can never use too many defensive linemen. My second round pick, I'm going with Jake Golday from Cincinnati at the linebacker position. Freakishly athletic linebacker. You bring him next to Levante David, and Levante David is the perfect teacher for a guy like Jake Golday, who has all the potential in the world to become a fantastic linebacker. I think you could start him next to him. I think he's a gre's player. Linebacker's a definite need for them. And, as I said, Levante David is getting older. He's probably not going to be around for that much longer. Not in a morbid way, but I think Jake Golday is a good pick here. And then my third round pick, I'm going with Malik Muhammad from Texas. Again, corner depth is extremely important. Now, and Malik Muhammad is a fantastic player in the middle of the third round to get. Again, I think it's another slam dunk pick for them. I think he's a third round corner, and I think the Bucs just need some corner depth. I think he has the upside to be a starting corner in this league. The interesting thing in my philosophy with their secondary is that they drafted a lot of guys last year who they are going to expect to play starting roles. They had Jacob Parrish already, who looked like a quality corner. And they also have Benjamin Morrison on the back end. I think that is going to be their starting three corners this season, is Benjamin Morrison, Zion McCollum, and Jacob Parrish. And then you get more depth with Jack Jones and Malik Muhammad. But I think a lot of this is, I think they're going to keep their faith in their offense. They're going to bring back the core. You saw them with the way they lit up. They're going to have a healthy Mike Evans back. They don't really need a lot of crazy changes on the offensive line yet. But defensively, I think they got to kind of reconstruct, add some more pass rush. You get a lot of guys. I think they're just going to really target guys in the draft. And especially last year with some of the guys. Like I said, the only positions I could consider them signing is either a linebacker or an extra defensive tackle. I just don't think they're going to sign a big-time corner when they've invested so much capital in their corners in the past.
Yeah. No, I really like that. I agreed. I think the pass rush is so important, even double dipping both in free agency and the draft with Clayvon Chason and TJ Parker. The Bucs are never a team that really go out and spend a lot of money.
I don't think they're going to be as fruit. I was looking over it and I'm like, oh my God, they have so much money. I know Baker Mayfield's contract is running out soon. I think he's maybe got one more year on his deal. But I just don't think they're going to be as frugal as people think they are.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And it's going to be interesting watching what does end up happening with Mike Evans if he does visits. Looking now that he could potentially look into free agency, but
he said he's going to kind of go around and look.
But this happened just the other year where he went out and looked, but still took the offer from the Bucs.
I just don't like it. It's kind of like it's like a Levante. It's like a Cameron Jordan thing. It's just very hard to see that guy in another uniform. And I just don't, I think the Bucs are going to do everything in their power, even with drafting Emeka Egbuka, to have a big three. What's better than two solid wide receivers than three? So
Exactly. It's always such an interesting, but I do love how this division, and we could very much see this. This is a division that could shake up constantly throughout the year, and who knows who could be up top? Who knows who's going to be the big spenders? Going to get those big players? But I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
man. All right, that concludes the NFC South. And Josh, you're on the clock for the first team in the AFC West. Who are you going with?
So I'm going to work on the Chiefs first.
Okay.
So I like the Saints. The Chiefs are also in cap hell right now. So they are now. This
Dead
was
last,
before they're dead last. This was before earlier today, but they are in negative 58 million in cap right now.
Oh my God, man.
Now there were reports earlier today that Mahomes took a restructure of his contract, which I actually already kind of predicted. So he went from 73 million in the cap this year down to 43.5. So most of his contract now comes from signing bonus beginning as well as a roster bonus at the end of the year. So that automatically frees up 30 million. I also went ahead and restructured Chris Jones's contract. That went from like 40 million down to 26.9. Same structure, signing bonus as well as a roster bonus. I also went ahead and restructured Trey Smith's contract. That went from the high 20s down to 14.8. I also went ahead and cut 3 players. Juwan Taylor,
Yep.
freed up 20 million.
Your man.
Michael Dana, defensive lineman, that freed up 9 million. And backup tight end Noah Gray, 4 million. So from negative 58 million, I brought us back to 65.6 million.
Wow.
That's over 100 million difference and only 6 players. So with 65.6, I went ahead and gave a extension to Trent McDuffie, which I know the Chiefs kind of have a history of maybe not resigning their key corners, but kind of send them away. I think they have to resign Trent McDuffie. He is the only real key spots in that secondary, especially that corner room. So I gave Trent McDuffie a 4-year, 112 million. That brings his cap from this year of 13.6 to 6.5. I also was under the impression that Travis Kelce will be back this year. It's up in the air if he ends up retiring or not. Yeah. He is a free agent, so I went ahead and re-signed Travis Kelce, 1 year, 10.7. I re-signed Marquise Brown, 1 year, 5.5. Brian Cook, their starting safety, who has been actually very, very good this last few years. 4 years, 56.7. That's a 5.6 first year cap, as well as Leo Chanel, 3 year, 14 million, which I think is an incredible value.
Really good value pick.
Exactly. So as a 2.5 of this year's cap, the Chiefs run a very heavy 4-3 standard look with all 3 starting linebackers out there. So having Leo Chanel, someone that is uber athletic, can do all 3 phases of stopping the run, rushing the passer, and coverage with that sort of deal. And him being a younger guy, I don't know how his market is that little or his value.
I think I've seen reports where it's supposed to be like, because I think Nick Bolton got like, what, 45 million?
Yep.
And I think I saw somewhere it was like he was going to get like a $30 million deal.
Yeah, it won't surprise me.
Because I know like the thing we use, it's like, because I saw it, I was like, really? Like, it's that?
But hey, I will take it.
Yeah.
By all means. And we've had such things as like value deals throughout, free agency in the past. But so with that, also, funny enough, have 6 players I am signing.
Dang, okay.
So far, all my 3 teams have had 6 players signing. I am getting a wide receiver, Deebo Samuel, 2 year, 31.5. Yes, he's a little bit older. Yes, he got a load of injuries this past year, but him in that offense, I mean, you can use him out of the backfield. You can use him all over. Right. I also am signing edge rusher Joey Bosa, 2 year, 27.5. With Mike Dana gone, George Karlaftis is a great edge player, and Chris Jones kind of plays a little bit of outside, a little bit of edge rusher on certain packages, but having a guy like Joey Bosa there, it just adds so much depth and talent to the D-line. I am also signing tight end Noah Fant to replace Noah Gray, 1 year, 3.2. I am signing Breece Hall. There was a lot of reports of him potentially going there during trade deadline. 4 year, 41.5. That's a 5.5 first year cap. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt aren't the answers.
No.
So both Breece Hall and potential packages of Deebo Samuel in the backfield add so much value to this run game where Mahomes, doesn't have to lead, his team in rushing almost every game. I am also signing offensive lineman Greg Van Roten from the Giants, 1 year, $5 million, potentially play a left guard position. And lastly, Joe Flacco, 1 year, $5.6 million.
Okay.
Not sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Not sure with Mahomes' injury when he will be back, but Joe Flacco has been shown to keep a team afloat, especially with the Bengals this past year. So he can come in and be that type of guy. So with all these, I'm left about 18 million. I have my first 3 picks is pick 9, pick 40, and pick 74. Pick 9, with how this draft came down, Caleb Downs was still there, which I think is possibly there because of his position being a safety. So I'm grabbing Caleb Downs with pick 9. He's a guy that can play all over the field. Safety, slot, linebacker, outside corner if you need him to, wherever. He's a guy that, while yes, I was able to re-sign, Brian Cook and Chamari Connor's still there. He's a guy in certain packages that can play slot, can even play linebacker, wherever. He is a chess piece. Pick 40, Blake Miller, right tackle from Clemson, come in and immediately be an upgrade over Jawan Taylor and fill in that right tackle spot, which, if it works out this way, you have a really good offensive line of Josh Simmons, Greg Van Roten, Humphrey, Trey Smith, Blake Miller. Pick 74, I just talked to him, and during my last offseason prediction, Justin Jolie, tight end from NC State at pick 74, the guy that could eventually blossom and become, I hate to say this, but Travis Kelce's replacement eventually. He's a guy that's...
Don't say that. Taylor Swift's boyfriend. No.
Yeah, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. He is a guy that, I know I just talked about him. He's used so much at NC State as a receiver. He is their primary target of RPOs. He's great after the run. He can get his hand down the dirt and block, but it's not necessarily his go-to. He is fantastic after the run, or after catching the ball, running the ball. He's a guy that should fit this kind of playmaking style offense that happens so much with Mahomes. Kind of that flow playmaking off-script offense. So you should be a good fit here.
I like it, man. Again, a lot of signings. I really like the re-signings. And I really like the Caleb Downs pick. That could be a really fun secondary with him, Brian Cook, and Trent McDuffie. But overall, man, another kudos, another banger from Josh. I think, I don't know why I'm doing this, because I think I forgot to mention this. But did I mention that for my Falcons, I was signing Marcus Mariota to the team?
You did not.
Didn't. Well, I guess I'll backtrack a little bit. And I did have them signing backup quarterback Marcus Mariota. I had him signing for a 2-year, $10 million deal. Be that Michael Penix backup. And if Michael Penix doesn't play well, Mariota's a premium backup quarterback in the league. And he gets a reunion with Atlanta. So anyways, besides the point, I just felt like I needed to say that off my chest because I forgot to say it because I was going all in on everything else. But I'll start with Denver. So Denver has about $26 million in cap space. Not bad, not amazing. Cap changes. Again, a lot of restructuring for this team. You can restructure a bunch of your offensive linemen. Mike McGlinchey, save about $12 million. Quinn Miners, 11. Ben Powers, you save about 9. And Talanoa Hufanga, you save about $8 million. Really solid. Cut. I'm going to cut Evan Ingram, save about $7 million in cap for a guy who just didn't do as much as you expected him to do. But that's post-June cut. Re-signings, got a couple of re-signings coming in. Start with J.K. Dobbins. I'm re-signing J.K. Dobbins, 2-year, $5 million deal. I know injuries are a big issue with him, but when he was on the field, he was fantastic. I just don't think they throw out big money when they just drafted R.J. Harvey. I think J.K. Dobbins is just a solid guy to have around and fits well in that offense. We're going to re-sign P.J. Locke to a 1-year, $5 million deal. He was great when he stepped in. Good little safety backup. We signed Michael Burton, fullback, 2-year, $3 million. Re-sign Adam Troutman to a 2-year, $5 million deal, be your backup tight end. We're going to do 2 tenders.
Okay.
I don't know how to say this last name, even though it's Polish. It's Alex Pazlowski to a second-round tender, $5 million. Stepped in at offensive guard, played really well. Same thing with Jaquan McMillan. It's another second-round tender, and a second-round tender for about $5 million. So keeping those guys, great depth pieces, guys that have come in, played as starters, and been great replacements. So now we have about $45 million to work with. And I have 2 moves for this team.
Okay.
Number 1, we are signing Caden Ellis from Atlanta. 3-year, $28 million deal. This is a immediate upgrade at the linebacker position. They're losing Justin Strnad and Alex Singleton. Caden Ellis alongside Dre Greenlaw is a fantastic linebacker duo. They needed to add a premium piece next to Dre Greenlaw. What better way to do it than a really great linebacker with Caden Ellis? And again, I think this defense they'd love to bring guys in. I think he's a great guy to bring in at the linebacker position to play next to him. The next move, and a really interesting move I have, is a trade. I am trading my 3rd round pick to the Chicago Bears, and I am getting DJ Moore, wide receiver. I think receiver is a big need for this team. You need a guy next to Cortland Sutton, who's, I think, he's about 31 years old. I know you have some younger guys like Marvin Mims, Pat Bryant, but, DJ Moore, another veteran receiver, needs a change of scenery. He's probably gone. Denver is immediately looking to contend. I don't think they care about the age of their receivers. I think they want a guy who can step in. DJ Moore for a 3rd round pick would be a fantastic move for them. Give him an extra weapon for Bo Nix. So those are my 2 moves. We're also going to restructure DJ Moore's contract, which will save us about $18 million because he has a massive cap hit. We now are about $36 million. Not bad. Now my draft. It was surprisingly very hard for me to find a lot of needs for this team. Round 1, I'm going with Cade McDonald, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. I know you might be thinking to yourself, oh my God, they have so many defensive linemen. What's that guy? DJ Jones. He's 31 years old. He's really getting up there in age. You have
Malcolm
Zach
Roach
Allen
as well.
Re-sign Malcolm Roach, but he will probably replace John Franklin Myers as that kind of outside defensive end, like the bigger defensive end on the outside. Cade McDonald, I think, is a piece that they don't have. Just a massive mauler, 0-1 tech, run-stuffing guy, kind of like a Tyreek Williams situation. But adding a piece like that to your defensive line, I think, is the cherry on top. 2nd round pick, I'm going with Max Clare, tight end from Ohio State. They need a new tight end 1. I don't think they go with Kenyon Sadiq. I think there's plenty of guys in the 2nd round that you can get at premium positions. And I think Max Clare is kind of a do-it-all guy. Maybe not as an elite receiving threat as a guy like E.I. Stowers, but definitely a little bit of a better blocker and did have production at Ohio State. He is your new tight end. Now, I did have a 3rd round pick possibility if DJ Moore didn't go because I love you guys. And if they don't trade for DJ Moore with my 3rd rounder, I'm going with offensive tackle Austin Barber from Florida. Your Gators.
And
kind
from
of
Jacksonville.
we played against him in high school, which is like really weird. He is
Trinity
your
Christian, I think.
Yeah, he pancaked one of our buddies. Yeah, so he is your kind of offensive tackle for the future, swing tackle, because Garrett Bowles is getting, really old. He's probably got a couple years left in the tank. Austin Barber could be a good swing tackle as well as a guy you could look forward in the future. But that is my offseason for Denver.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, and you kind of mentioned this, and this isn't a team that necessarily have a lot of needs. This is a team that obviously had an outstanding season, number 1 in the AFC, could have gone further in the playoffs if it wasn't for Bo Nix's injury. Now, it is interesting to see what does end up happening with Bo Nix and that injury if he is ready for week 1. But I like it. I mean, I think with a team like that, you have to re-sign your guys, like PJ Locke. I love you throwing some tenders around. I love re-signing the fullback. Like, all that's fun. This is also a team I could see if Kenyon Sadiq wasn't there in their 1st round, I could see them trading down.
That's a thing. Because I was like, I don't really know what they could do. So, and I think that they could get some, really solid multiple guys in the 2nd round that you could kind of put in. But again, I think Cade McDonald is he's kind of the defensive lineman they don't have, even though they have so many. It could be a guy that, he definitely needs some time to develop as a pass rusher. But he is a perfect run-stuffing defensive tackle for them.
No, definitely, and I really like it. I mean,
thank you.
It makes sense in the idea of re-signing your guys and getting key pieces that, while they may not necessarily be superstars, they'll be like guys that have their role that they will exceed at.
Yeah.
So, as what this team needs, they're so they're built beautifully and they function very well together. I mean, against the Patriots, how close was that game? And without, Bo Nix.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that just kind of shows what type of team this is. I really like it.
Thank you. You're too
I
kind.
now too kind. I now have the Chargers. This one is interesting to me. So the Chargers sit at 82.1 million. I believe they're like second or third in the league when it comes to cap space. I am kind of going a little bit what the Bears did last year. I'm cutting some interior linemen, and I will sign some more later down the road. So I'm cutting Mekhi Becton. That's saving about 10 million. Riley Bozeman, starting center, 5.9 million. I'm also cutting, honestly, backup tight end Will Disley, 4 million. I am also extending 2 key players. Derwin James, 4 years, 76.1 million. His first year cap's 8.9. Tuliputo, however you say his name.
Tulipulotu.
Yeah,
Tulipulotu.
that was close.
Yeah, close enough.
Similar contract to Derwin James, 4 years, 74.6. First year cap as a 5.1. I am also re-signing 4 key players. Leo Mack, 1 year, 18.4 million.
Oof.
It's a lot of money, but when he's on the field, he is, even
Yes.
at his age, his impact's incredible. Keenan Allen, your all-time leading receptions leader, 1 year, 6.8 million. Odafe Owe, 3 year, 58 million. First year cap of 7.6. Jamari Sawyer, backup offensive guard. He played well last year when he was in. He dealt some injuries from Georgia. 1 year, 1.8. So I'm left with about 84.7 million. I am signing a lot of people. I went all out on some of these teams.
Yeah, I know. More than 6?
More than 6.
Oh my god. Okay, all
Not
right.
that much more.
Let's read through them.
Oh, as the Bears did last year, they went with 2 new guards and a center. I'm doing the exact same. A Teller, 3 year, 30.5 million is a lot of money for a guy that's already a little bit older, but he didn't start his career off the youngest with the Bills. First year caps 4.5. Kevin Zeitler, 1 year, 9.2. Connor McGovern, again, I talked to him with the Panthers, 3 year, 49 million, 5.8 first year cap. I am signing D tackle or D end. Calais Campbell, 1 year, 10.9. I think at this point, Calais Campbell's his career, he's kind of ring chasing a little bit, deservingly so. Even when he's almost 40, he's still an incredibly impactful player.
Yeah.
Signing linebacker Nakobe Dean, 4 year, 31.6, first year cap of 3.3. Him next to Henley is a incredibly athletic young linebacker duo. I'm also signing running back Kenneth Gainwell, 2 year, 5.9.
I like that. Yeah.
We kind of saw him with the Steelers this year. He's kind of more like a scat back kind of a player.
Very good receiving back. Very good receiving back.
Justin Herbert doesn't necessarily have a receiving back on the roster. Amari Hampton and both Kamani Vidal is not I want to say in their skill set, but it's not a skill that they exceed at. So Kenneth Gainwell as that kind of third down back, very good with it. Also signing corner Josh Joby from the Seahawks, 3 year, 29 million, 4.5 in first year cap hit. Their corners, Dante Jackson's played really well, but I mean, Tyree still is another corner that they have.
Yeah,
it's not great. Benjamin St. Juice, Cam Hart. They have some younger guys. Somebody like Josh Joby can come and be that outside corner. Played really well in the Super Bowl this past year. Giving him a big contract. So they have pick 22, pick 55, and pick 86. Pick 22, I went with D lineman Caleb Banks from Florida. He is a mauler. He's 6'6", 330, and has shown tons of potential, both, honestly, his freshman year at Florida and the Senior Bowl at that pass rush. He's dealt a lot of injuries throughout his career at Florida, but between him, Calais Campbell, and what they already have at D tackle, Tahir Tart, like they have big guys.
Right, yeah.
And this is a team that struggled against the run. So bringing in just big guys back there can really help this team. I also at pick 55 picked LSU safety AJ Hawley. He's a guy that is kind of is really good athlete, really good in coverage. He's a guy that you can put in the back end that lets Derwin James be more of that box safety. And AJ Halsey and Elijah Monica kind of portray a little bit of that more back end. And then pick 86, I went with interior offensive lineman Brian Parker II from Duke. He reminds me a lot of Graham Barden from Duke of a few years ago, Buck's current center. both him and Brian Parker both kind of play that offense tackle, but I could very well see them convert to interior. And it's always good, especially with the Chargers, to have another offense lineman ready to go in
Yeah.
case of, some freak injury like we've seen so much with the Chargers offensive line. But yeah, in this prediction, we are fixing offensive line. We are fixing a little bit that D line, linebackers, and really kind of getting some depth as well.
You are the first guy I think I've seen that did not have a first round mock pick as an offensive lineman to the Chargers. And I respect the hell out of that because I do think I really like the Wyatt Teller signing and I really like the Connor McGovern signing. I think, again, this is a team that's looking and ready to compete. Bring in the vets, man, and
Yeah.
bring in a guy, because, you tried to take their big risks. Guys like Mekhi Becton, you need guys that can play really good football. The Kobe Dean signing, I think, would be fantastic for him. And I also love, Caleb Banks. It would be really interesting because I think he's going to go really surprisingly high.
I think a lot of different teams want to have a lot of different grades on him because the past years in college, I mean, I'm firsthand witness. He was injured, or when he was on the field, you could tell he wasn't 100%.
Yeah, 100%. But I know you know it as much as I do with teams.
Mm-hmm.
They fall in love with some of the crazy stuff, and I think this is But I think again, dude, this team this team just got a whole lot bigger and a whole lot scarier, which I think Harbaugh would love. I like it, man.
I went straight trenches.
Straight, and that's what you need to do, man. Trenches win the games, man.
And that's Jim Harbaugh. All right there is trenches.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and why wouldn't these veterans go to the Chargers? Like, this is a team that is in a win now mode. They have the star quarterback. They have a Super Bowl winning head coach. I think Jim Harbaugh won a Super Bowl, didn't he? I know he went to one against his
No,
brother
because he
John.
lost to the Ravens.
Did he go to, okay, so anyway, a national championship.
He's got a JJ McCarthy ring.
He got JJ McCarthy ring with Roman Wilson as his number one wide receiver.
Yeah. Oh boy. We don't talk about that.
Jonah Edwards as is one of his better running backs. So why wouldn't a team want to come here is my question. So getting 3 veteran offensive linemen and just cutting loose of what he already had, I think is a real, and banking on development of your wide receivers. Quentin Johnson had an incredible year this year. Ladd McConkey had a little bit of a down year, but his target share was not nearly as high. So banking on them, Orlando Gatson as well, as taking all those next steps and then just going hard in the trenches.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. Now, the final team, and one I had a lot of fun with. The Raiders, man. Oh boy, we got some stuff. Start with $91 million in cap. I think they're the second most in the league.
Beyond the Titans.
We don't have a crazy amount of restructurings and stuff. We have one big one that's Colton Miller. Save about $15 million. Cuts, 2 cuts, cutting Geno Smith, save about $8 million with him. And we're cutting center Alex Kappa. They'll save us about $5 million. Those are our 2 cuts. Resignings. We're first going to resign Eric Stokes. 3 years, $22 million. Had a fantastic season with the team. It's going to be key to keep him around. We're going to resign Devin White for the sake of it. I know he wasn't the best coverage linebacker, but you really don't have anyone else in there to replace him. And also he is a great, great tackler. He tackles a lot of people.
Great tackler.
Get about 1 year, $2 million. We're also going to tender a guy that they actually traded for, and that's Thomas Booker. We're going to do not a second round tender, but a small one. Do about $3 million. Defensive tackle depth is very thin for them. And also the defensive tackle market is not the greatest. So I think they just got to keep the guys that they have around. Now, free agency. So you save a lot of money, about 100 plus million. Free agency, man. We're going to have fun with this. I got a couple of small signings for them. They're going to sign Ben Barch from the San Francisco 49ers, offensive guard. 1 year, $2 million. He'll be a depth piece, rotational piece. Same thing with a guy, Trent Brown. About a 1 year, $3-4 million deal. He actually played pretty well when he was playing with Houston. I think he has a chance to kind of be a rotational guy, if not a right tackle for a year or two. Because the other thing is, too, I just don't think this right tackle class is that great either. So get him at a discount. Another guy I think we're going to get. We're going to poach a couple of Seahawks from Clint
Okay.
Kubiak. The first one, I'm bringing in Tariq Woolen on a prove-it deal. We're going to give him about a 1 year, $9 to $10 million contract. I think, like I said, I think Seattle's going to re-sign a lot of guys. I don't think they're going to re-sign Tariq Woolen. They have a lot of other secondary guys that I think they'll sign over him, like Josh Jobe or Kobe Bryant. I think Tariq Woolen with the Raiders gets the shot at being a true cornerback one and has the potential to make a big contract. I think he's going to follow Clint Kubiak. The other one I'm signing Boye Mafe, edge rusher. We're going to give him at a 3-year, $38 million deal. Again, give him a chance to kind of not have a rotational edge rusher role, but have a starting defensive end role alongside one of the best in the game, Max Crosby. A couple of other ones. I am signing Nakobe Dean to a 4-year, $35 million contract. Again, I think linebacker is a massive need. Evan White's your tackler. Nakobe Dean, he's a great blitzing linebacker, also fantastic in coverage, just a very high IQ player. Fits in, becomes your guy. Another one, we're signing Cade Mays, center from the Carolina Panthers, to a 3-year, $37 million deal. Not the most premium center on the market, but still an above average center with Carolina. Immediately an upgrade at the center position over Alex Kappa. And then another one, and arguably the biggest one. So I'm going with Romeo Doubs. I know, I hate to say it. Give him about a 4-year, $50 million. I think he fits well with what Clint Kubiak wants to do. I could definitely see Rashid Shaheed coming in here. But I think Doubs is definitely more of the proven wide receiver. He's a veteran, more of a veteran presence alongside guys like Jack Best, Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton. You have your speedsters, you have your kind of slot guy, and you have Jack Best. Now you have Romeo Doubs, a consistent, reliable target for your future quarterback. I think this is they need an upgrade at a receiver. They need a guy who knows what to do. I think Romeo Doubs is that guy. Now, I wanted to briefly talk about Max Crosby and my opinions on him. This is my opinion. I know there's a lot of trade rumors. If you can get a Micah Parsons type of trade for Max Crosby, you take that deal. I think it's very different. Max Crosby, listen, this isn't me being biased as a Packers fan. I think Micah Parsons is better than Max Crosby. Max Crosby is 29 years old, has a big time cap hit with this team. The restructuring is not going to help you save a lot with that cap hit. And I think if you get an opportunity to get 2 first-round picks plus maybe even a player, you take that deal, because I'm telling you, even though we signed a boatload of guys, this team needs so much more. I think they need to really hit a rebuild. And I just don't see Max Crosby being a part of that rebuild for the timeline that he's on as a 29-year-old pass rusher. If not, keep him, because on the other side, he is one of those generational pass rushers. And you gotta have one of those if you're going to be a good football team. So that's my opinion on him. For the sake of this, I said that we're not trading him because I just don't think the Raiders are going to want to do that. I think they're going to be a little scared to do that. So now we're going to finish with about $70 million with all those big time signings. So we're going to go with my 3-round mock draft. Number 1, do I even have to explain myself? I'm just going to say his name, Fernando Mendoza. 2nd round pick. I'm going with another interior offensive lineman, an instant impact starter. I'm going with Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. I know a lot of people want like Omar Cooper Jr. here. I just don't see it. They have so many young receivers on that team. You just bring in Romeo Doubs. That offensive line was terrible last year. You need another offensive guard to complement Jackson Powers Johnson. I think Emmanuel Pregnon is just one of those guys you could plug in and you know he's going to be a reliable offensive guard for your team. Give me him at this position. My 3rd round pick, I'm going with safety from USC, Kamari Ramsey. A guy next to Jeremy Chin, can complement him very well. Another fantastic player, just a very physical safety. And I think they need an upgrade at that position. Getting a safety, I know safety in the 3rd round, he is an immediate starter for this team. again, this is a lot of just plugging holes. I think that this just is just signing really solid upgrades to continue to not only give Fernando Mendoza time in the pocket and another connection, but also have some key pieces on that defense to keep upgrading it. I think this is a great offseason for the Raiders.
No, I agree with you. Funny enough, I love that Romeo Dobbs
Mm,
destination because to me, watching the play styles of Romeo Dobbs and Omar Cooper, they're very close in play style. So I think you already get a reliable, solidified, maybe not a wide receiver one, but a guy that can potentially be a wide receiver by committee key piece like Romeo Dobbs. It's interesting. I love your point about Max Crosby. This kind of it reminds me a little bit of, Myles Garrett's situation last year where he
yeah.
I came out and requested a trade and then led to a new contract. But even through all that discussion, he talked about wanting to be a contributor, and key piece of picking out their future. So I think you can kind of talk to Max Crosby, tell him your plan with Fernando Mendoza and the offense and your coaching staff, and he can be, still a key piece
Yes.
from now in the next 4 years of their rebuild until they're ready,
Mhm.
or at least Mendoza's rookie contract. Offensive line is such a key piece for this, for this
So
offense and this
bad. They
team.
need so much.
I love the Trent Brown signings. It reminds me a lot of like Donald Penn a long time ago
Yep.
from the Bucks to Raiders. Just a massive human being. Um, It'll be interesting. So Cade Mays is a guy from the Panthers that played all over that interior. So
Mhm.
even if he wasn't necessarily the starting center, Jackson Powers Johnson could be that answer.
I
There's
don't
a
know.
lot. There's a situation there, with
Yeah.
he is a better center than he is guard, especially when he wants to play center. So that's a whole situation that's also needs to
Mm,
be talked about this offseason. But I love those picks, draft picks especially. Getting that help in the interior. Pregnon is a incredible, just another big human being. He's
yeah.
really good in the run game, which behind Ashton Genty, and even with Mendoza and in Indiana, he did rely so much on that run game. So that's just a
Yeah.
massive help, massive boost in the offensive line. Amari Ramsey's a guy that can play really any position in the secondary. So that's another key piece to kind of play around with a little bit. But I love that offseason.
Thanks, man.
I love it. Think
Well,
it.
Josh, or sorry,
No, you're good.
Josh, that concludes another round of mock off seasons. That was a lot of players moving a lot of different ways, but I love it. I
Mm.
love it, man. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on another episode of the Goal Line Guys and mock off seasons. Let us know what you guys think of these signings. If you think we missed anyone or missed any positions, and also what did you think of the drafts? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think there's something else that could be missing? Let us know in the comments down below. We really appreciate everyone's support and thank you for tuning in. Yeah, another great episode, man.
Yeah, we're halfway there with all these teams.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, 2 more episodes of going through teams. Then free agency and the legal tamping period will start. We'll go over episode 2, talking about those, and then we'll get into potentially some comparisons at the draft, and we'll get into more maybe in our mock draft down the line, something like that. But James, great talking to you, bud. Another
Great talking
incredible
to you
week.
too, man. Another incredible week. Josh, as I always say, you have a great rest of your day. Get some sleep, man. I know it's very late there.
I will, and you too, James. Study up. All right.
I will. I'll see you, man.
All right. I'll see you.